Okay, so for day one, we are gonna start off with a pink, simple little flower, like a little star shape. And go ahead and watch me paint it, and then you can go ahead and start on yours. I'm gonna take my size 1 brush, rinse it off in my water cup. And then if you have an old set of paints, you can reactivate old paints, or you can go ahead and get some new paint going in your lid. So one of the keys to watercolor is working from this lid here, working from your little puddles. You don't want to work directly from your little wells of paint there. You want to create your own watered down puddle there so that you have your watercolor actually look watery. Cool. So you want it to be like a little bit translucent, not super dark, not super light, kind of a medium value. And then we'll go ahead and paint our first flower. Okay, so for this first flower, I'm going to pick up some of my pinkish red, and I'm going to do the most simple flower. It is just a little 5-pointed star-shaped flower. And I'm just using the tip of my brush to do 5 little lines that all intersect in the center. So you can practice different size, the different widths of the lines. You can do ones that are really thin lines, really thick lines. Totally up to you, but these again are super simple. They're great if you're doing a pattern of some sort and you want to like fill in some small spaces. Love these tiny star-shaped flowers. They look great in little groupings of 3 or 5 or however many you want to do. So as we practice these flowers, you're going to see they're all very simple. The more you do, the more interesting it will look. So doing a lot of the artwork that I do, it's not really about painting the most complex, interesting flowers. It's about doing these really simple, fun flowers. And it's a great way to get started. Try not to obsess over the detail of each individual flower. You can see that if you just did one, it might not look as much like a flower, but the more you do, you can add leaves, you can add a little center of pollen to your flowers, whatever you want to do. But there's so many ways to paint flowers, and we're going to just stick to a variety of different shapes, simplicities, play around with the color, the widths, all the different things, but again, not super complicated. And then when they dry, we can go in and add centers to them. So they can be whatever color you want. I'm going to take some darker red and go into the center of these. And you'll see if they aren't totally dry, you won't be able to do that super well. So just let it dry. Go ahead and add the centers of pollen to each. And that's really all there is to each of these flowers. Each day we're going to go through a really simple flower like this. Imagine how cool it could be if you fill out a whole sheet with this, if you add leaves. And the more we play with different flowers, you'll start to understand how really the simplicity of the flowers can add a lot to your piece. It's not about having a really complicated flower, and especially if you're new to watercolors, just have fun with it. Realize that it's a really great medium to play around and not obsess over little tiny details. Very illustrative type technique here, not painting super realistic looking daisies or anything. This could be your own idea of what a daisy might look like to you. So yeah, again, have fun with it. Play around with different colors in your palette. You're going to use just water, the paints, the brush, and paint some little adorable flowers for us. So I will see you back for day 2, and we'll be working on a slightly different shape of flower.